What's going on, guys? Hope everyone had a good day, a good night, whenever it is you are watching. Shout out to Luna. I'm sure you guys have seen his channel, but if not, go check it out. He's the reason why I do this kind of stuff. Like, I'll play video games, just talk over commentary, just like he does. He's the one that gave me the idea, so shout out to him. Seriously, man, you're the GOAT. Watch my videos, or don't. Can't tell you what to do. Anyway, alright. I'm gonna stop with the cringe shit, the cringy jokes, and get right into the video. So, this story takes place in like 2018, 2019. I think like late 2018, early 2019, like around that time. At that point in my life, I was pretty brand new to community college, so most of my friends I was with were pretty much brand new now that I say that. I was hanging out with them most of the time. I was hanging out with this kid I used to work with named Drew, and that's who today's story is about. And for those of you who don't know, who haven't seen the videos, he's basically this kid. Obviously, it's not his real name, but he was this kid that I used to work with at a hardware store. We were lot attendants, and that's how I met him. But the thing about him was he had a bit of an anger issue. Again, for those who haven't seen the other videos about him, he, like I said, had a bad anger issue. He would constantly crash out on quite literally anybody he sees. Like, it was bad. And the story also features, I'm still boys with him to this day. Again, not his real name, but Spencer. Shout out to you if you're watching. He's in my video about the water slide, which also involves Drew, ironically. But this particular story is about a time where Drew crashed out on me over a video game, and it just went way too fucking far. Now you're sitting there like, oh, a crash out story? Dude, like, what's the fun of that? Just trust me, you'll enjoy it. So anyway, like I said, Drew crashes out over, like, Call of Duty, over a stupid fucking video game at me, all because I wasn't doing exactly what he said. So basically, I remember this night, it was pretty normal. I was at my house, Drew and Spencer, sorry, we're at their houses. We're all on FaceTime, just gaming and talking about shit. You know, it was nice. Because he was one of my new friends at the time. They both kind of were, actually. And it felt nice just to reconnect, or not reconnect, but, like, you know, build a friendship with new people, since I had been going to the same high school the past, like, 4 years, and I was just tired of the same people all the time. Anyway, I'm rambling. Anyway, we're playing Call of Duty and shit, and I can tell that Drew's having, like, a pissy night. Because even though he was still one of my fairly new friends, like I mentioned earlier in the video, he had an anger issue, and I don't know what exactly pissed him off, but I remember something, like, stupid pissed him off, and I could tell he was in a mood. And I was like, oh shit, this isn't gonna go good. And sure enough, we're playing zombies. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the best at Call of Duty. Like, I'm okay at it, but I'm not the best at it, I'm not gonna lie. So Drew didn't really take too kindly to that, because he was freaking the fuck out at me over small things. He was like, I have to keep fucking reviving you, dude. What's wrong with you? And the other thing about Drew, I don't think I mentioned this before, was that's all that kid would do. He would go to work and he would just play video games. Like, he was done with high school, obviously. He was a couple years older than me. He didn't go to college, like, but that's all he would do. Like, he would talk to us, you know, whoever he was with at the time, whatever friends he had, all that stuff, you know, and, like, it would be on FaceTime. Like, I don't think I ever saw him really, like, go out. And the only time I would really see him is at work. Like, this kid was, I'm telling you, this kid, like, was a sweat. And I was like, sorry, dude, sorry that after work, I'm either doing schoolwork, at the time I was, like I said earlier, I was starting college, or I'm, you know, out with my family, I'm out with my friends, I'm doing something active. And of course they go, don't give me that. Like, he's giving me like this middle school ass conversation. I was like, dude, like, can we just play the game? And then he was like, no, you're not coming back. And then he, like, removes me from the Discord. And he's like, see what I just did? I removed you from the fucking Discord. And I was like, okay, dude, whatever. And then I just hung up the FaceTime, since I was still on the FaceTime call. But I see him the next day, and he's like, hey. And I was like, hi, Drew. And he was like, bro, like, how could you fuck that up? Like, he was, like, going off and on about it. And the thing about this hardware store we worked at was that it was literally, like, in, like, a plaza thing. Like on a busy main road. It was, like, right across the street from a highway entrance. Like, that right there should give you an idea of how busy it was. But the other thing about like this hardware store is that the plaza was like with an Applebee's and like a couple ATMs, a Burger King, and then right next door to like all three of those, there was like this motel where people can hear us because like we're standing by like the motel side of the parking lot. 'Cause like I said earlier, we're a lot of attendants, and like he's just going off at me about this fucking video game, and I was like, dude, like if it makes you feel better, like I just won't go back in the chat. Like I won't ask to be added back because I wanted to chat with my friends and shit, even though we're on FaceTime. So I don't know why my brain cooked that up. I don't know. It was just me being 18 and stupid, I guess. I don't even know what to call that, to be real. But anyway, he was like, no, no, I'll add you back. But dude, like, come on, like you gotta do better. And he was like, I'm sorry, I crashed out. I'm like, all right, whatever, fine. So we get on that night, and on FaceTime, I see him like opening like a bottle, or like a can, I should say. And I'm like, oh, what's in that can? And he shows me, it's like beer. I'm like, dude, like, you get more mad like when you're drunk over small things, dude. Like, I think let's do us both a favor. You don't drink, you don't get as mad, and I don't yell back at you, and I don't fight with you, and we're good. Then he was like, nah, dude, fuck that. And then he just takes a couple more beers. I was like, dude, this is not going to be good. Then we finally, like, get on the game and shit. And it was the same thing, because I was tired. 'Cause I remember I had work earlier that day, and I had to do schoolwork. I'm like, dude, I'm tired. Can I just not play it? And he's like, no, you're not going to bed until we win a fucking round. And, like, he was, like, screaming at me. And I've mentioned this in my other videos before, but for those of you who don't know, Drew lived with his grandparents, and they were pretty chill, but at nighttime they were very strict about his yelling and shit. Since they were kind of used to it, since they obviously live with him, they know about his anger issue and shit. But at nighttime they oh my god, dude, like you fucking like I got up one time to like get a water or something, and his grandmother was like, "Yo, can you like lower your voice?" I'm like, I didn't even talk. I just got up. She must have been walking by Drew's room or something. 'Cause there ain't no way. But anyway, they were very strict about volume at nighttime, and rightfully so. They want to go to bed. You know, I believe his grandfather worked, his grandmother was retired, but still, it doesn't matter. And then, of course, you know, I've mentioned this before too in my other video. He would always, like, when called up by his grandparents, he would, like, yell back. So he was like, "Man, I don't fucking care. Just leave me alone." And then she proceeds, and mind you, this kid's 21, by the way. His grandmother, on FaceTime, takes away this grown-ass man's Xbox. Like, she literally unplugs that shit. I was like, what the fuck? And mind you, me and Spencer are on FaceTime with him when this is happening. And, like, she's yelling at him on FaceTime and all that shit. And I know what you're thinking. He should have just hung up. And he literally can't. Like, his grandmother's, like, blocking him from getting to the Xbox. So the Xbox is where the phone was. And then his grandmother finally walks out of the room with the Xbox after yelling for, like, another 5 minutes. And he goes, "Look what you fucking did!" Then he hangs up the FaceTime. And then I see him the next day at work, and he's like, "Dude, like, I can't play Xbox for like 2 weeks because of you, and I can only take my phone to and from work. How am I gonna call these people?" And like he showed me like a list of like gang members that he had that he wanted like to talk to or whatever the fuck. And I was like, dude, like the only person who got you in trouble was yourself. Like, don't even trip, bro. Like, literally don't even trip. And then he just kept yelling at me and shit. And same thing, but this time around, remember that motel I mentioned earlier? The one that was next to the hardware store I worked at? Yeah, people could hear us from over there. And they're like, "You guys good?" And I had to be like, "Yeah, we're fine." And I was like, "Dude, just go to the other side of the lot. We'll talk like when you get your phone back. We'll just help each other out here at work, and that's it." He's like, "I don't fucking care." And I stuck to it though for a couple weeks. You know, like we'd be friendly at work, but that'd be it. And when he got his phone back, he was like, "Yo, take lunch with me. Don't talk to me till lunch though." I'm like, "Okay." So we go to that Applebee's that's right near there. And he's like, "Look, dude, my bad. I'm sorry. I know like I flipped out on you and shit. I shouldn't be doing that. Like, I take my anger out on people that, I really care about. I was like, yeah, I can see that. I was like, it's all good, dude. Just like, don't be crashing out over a video game like that on me. Then he was like, okay, fair enough. So yeah, we also agreed that we'd only play video games a couple nights a week, since he would do it every fucking night, but there'd be nights where I'd just be doing schoolwork or doing whatever. And we agreed to that. So we came up to an agreement, and as long as he's not, yelling at me and shit, I game with him. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened until he did it again 2 weeks later. And after that, I was like, I'm just not gonna game with you, dude. I'm sorry, but no, it's not worth it to me. And we both just agreed. We both agreed, honestly. And yeah, that's pretty much where the story ends. Like I worked with him. I would, to be honest, game with him here and there. Like I'd be lying if I said I didn't. But yeah, we pretty much just dropped the thing. Alright, guys. Sorry for the lack of uploads lately. I'm gonna try and do better. I know I keep saying that, and I keep, fucking that up. But yeah. Alright, guys. Catch you in the next one. Peace.